Hello, genealogists. This is Craig, and we begin our process of examining genealogical standards as found in the second edition revised of Genealogical Standards, which was produced by the Board for Certification of Genealogists. And this is where I caveat and say I do not represent the Board for the Certification of Genealogists. I am just an associate of the board. I'm not a trustee. I have never been a trustee. However, I believe firmly in the standards and what the Board for Certification of Genealogists means. You will hear this each time that we discuss a standard at the very beginning so that everybody is perfectly clear that you're not going to say, but Craig Scott said. All I'm going to give you is my opinion on the matter, and it's worth about squat. And we'll leave it at that. So today we're going to be talking about Genealogy Standards, Standards for Documenting, Standard number 8, Separation Safeguards. And this will end our discussion of standards for documenting. And next week we will begin standards for researching with standard number 9. Standard number 8 is Separation Safeguards. When transmitting or storing documented material, genealogists prevent mechanical or digital separation of citations from the statements, facts, images, and conclusions they document. Such safeguards may include placing metadata or images in digital files, citations on the fonts of photocopied material, citations on the fronts of photocopied material, uniquely numbered footnotes at the bottom of pages corresponding to superscripts and narrative text on the same pages, page numbering showing both page number and total pages, and reference notes, endnotes, and photocopies on firmly attached pages. See glossary for definition of document, verb, endnote, footnote, image, and reference note. This is one of the most difficult things probably to do in genealogy, is to make sure that your citation doesn't disappear from what you're citing. Now, years ago, I used to put things on the back of things, and I learned very quickly that that doesn't work. I also learned that creating a piece of label and putting a label on the front of something didn't work either, like if it was a photograph or something else, because in time it would fall off. It would somehow never stick. So for me, this has always been traumatic, especially because I don't trust anybody or anything in regards to genealogy. I do trust people in regards to other things, but I don't trust their genealogy unless I can see everything that goes with it. And if you don't provide the citation with the material, then it doesn't go with it. So one of the things I'm sure to do in my note-taking is the citation is done first, of course, and then I do the note-taking, and they're not separate from each other. They're not separated. And if it's more than one page, normally I will repeat the citation and say page 2. So that the citation is always on the page that I'm writing on. Now, if it's an electronic file, I may not do that until I actually print it out, but often I don't print these things out like that because they end up in other places. So if it's a photograph, if it's a piece of paper, you want to make sure that the citation information is the W's are on the front, not on the back. Because when you go to photocopy it, you're going to photocopy the front, then you're going to photocopy the back, and they get separated. There's just no way around it. I don't trust Microsoft Word to actually, as footnotes get moved around, to do it correctly. So that's scary too. But I watch it carefully because I've had it happen where somehow footnote number 4 actually turned out the information ended up in footnote number 5, and I still don't know how it happened, but this is what you have to deal with. So you just have to focus and be careful. Uniquely numbered footnotes at the bottoms of pages corresponding to superscripts in narrative text on the same pages. Yeah, sure. That's what Microsoft Word does. But I don't trust it between pages. Sorry. The other thing to remember is, and this isn't so much for you, but for other people, put page 1 of whatever the total number of pages are, so that someone can't insert a page on you, so that someone can't delete a page on you, so that you're confident that the total number of pages equals the total number of pages that are actually extant and in your hot little hand. So this is always a good idea to put page 1 of whatever the total number of pages are. I don't do that as often as I should, and I will, now that I've read this and gone over it, remind myself that I should be doing that. This has been Standard 8, separation safeguards. This is probably one of the most difficult standards to implement until you create the habit. So work on it, because it will save you trauma and hours of time sometimes at some point in the future, I promise you. So separation safeguards. So this has been Just Genealogy, and standards for documenting are now put to bed. We will start on standards for researching next week. Thank you all very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.